What if the most iconic boxing match wasn't just about skill or strength, but also about a confession that forever changed how we view legacy? Today, we dive into the dark and transformative revelations behind one of boxing's greatest rivalries, one that not only captivated audiences, but also challenged perceptions of victory and defeat. The chilling admission of a fighter who once dominated his opponents exposes a mentality fueled by raw intensity and unfiltered aggression. Rather than competing for glory, this fighter admitted, "I wasn't trying to win a boxing match. I was trying to kill that guy." Such words reveal the inner turmoil and psychological complexity that define not only a sport, but also a man's identity. Before the fateful night in Kinshasa, this powerhouse was seen as an unstoppable force, a champion whose undefeated status was built on sheer dominance and a relentless will to crush anything in his path. His fists were legendary, as was his reputation. However, everything changed under the lights of that historic bout against Muhammad Ali. Ali, known for his cunning strategies and mental fortitude, flipped the narrative, turning sheer force against itself, using a strategy that would become legendary in its own right: the rope-a-dope. As the bell rang, what began as a battle of titans transitioned into a tale of resilience and vulnerability, showcasing that sometimes true strength lies not in physical power, but in the ability to adapt and transform. This launch of unforeseen events marks the beginning of a no-holds-barred journey into rivalry, confession, and enduring respect, one that invites us to explore deeper themes of humanity lost and found within the ring. The chilling confession. In a shocking revelation, George Foreman, the former heavyweight champion, confessed that his intentions in the ring against Muhammad Ali were far more sinister than mere victory. He stated, "I wasn't trying to win a boxing match. I was trying to kill that guy." These words echoed through the boxing world, shaking the very foundations of how fans viewed his mentality. For decades, Foreman had been celebrated for his ferocity and power, asserting dominance over his opponents with a mix of speed and brute strength. However, this candid admission unveiled a darker side to his ferocity. It suggested that his overwhelming desire to crush his rivals stemmed not only from his ambition to retain his title, but also from a personal vendetta. This chilling confession painted Foreman as not just a boxer, but as a fighter willing to cross ethical boundaries for personal glory. In the aftermath of his loss to Ali, the psychological scars ran deep. The once mighty champion found himself grappling with guilt, remorse, and a tumultuous inner battle. His confession also opened the door to countless discussions about the human psyche within the realm of competitive sports. As fans reflected on this admission, it transformed their understanding of Foreman's character and the motivations that drove him. The boxing world was left reeling, as the line between rivalry and rivalry crossed into a territory of darkness, igniting debates on the nature of competition and the lengths to which individuals might go to succeed. Ultimately, this chilling confession not only reshaped the narrative of George Foreman's legacy, but also urged fans to reconsider the complexities of athlete motivations. Dominance in the ring. In the world of boxing, George Foreman emerged as a symbol of sheer power and intimidation, a fighter whose presence in the ring left opponents trembling. With fists capable of delivering bone-crushing blows, Foreman, a two-time world heavyweight champion, showcased an explosive style that shattered records and expectations. His dominance was not just about strength. It was about an aura, a reputation built on fear, respect, and awe. When he stepped into the ring, he wasn't just another fighter. He was a monster, a destroyer, a force of nature. This reputation was solidified before his infamous matchup against Muhammad Ali, where he obliterated contenders like Joe Frazier and Ken Norton, leaving them without any semblance of hope. Foreman's ability to dismantle these tough opponents revealed the extent of his physical prowess and psychological advantage. Many believed no one could withstand his fury, especially as he entered the ring, undefeated and undisputed at just 25 years old. The whispers grew louder. Fans and analysts alike speculated that he would end Ali's career, forever silencing the greatest. Yet, this perceived invincibility concealed a vulnerability. Consumed by the pressure to maintain his dominance, Foreman often carried a heavy weight on his shoulders. The relentless pursuit of glory transformed him into a relentless boxer, but also into a man driven by the fear of losing. As fans witnessed his intimidating demeanor, they couldn't help but wonder, was his dominance a shield protecting him from his own self-doubt? The ring became not just a battleground, but a crucible where he honed his skills, forged a legacy, and ultimately learned the delicate balance between power and vulnerability, setting the stage for one of boxing's most iconic battles. Ali's daring strategy. In the unforgettable clash of titans, Muhammad Ali employed a strategy that transcended mere boxing tactics. It was a brilliant psychological maneuver known as the rope-a-dope. Instead of relying on his famed footwork and speed, Ali leaned against the ropes, tempting George Foreman, a powerhouse of unbeatable strength, to unleash his fury. Round after round, Foreman delivered heavy punches, thinking he was wearing down Ali. This was precisely part of Ali's plan, to absorb the punishment while conserving his own energy. As Foreman continued to swing with all his might, his punches grew slower and less precise. Ali's strategy was risky, but it showcased his unparalleled ability to think outside the conventional norms of boxing. Fans and analysts expected him to move and dodge, yet he instead invited Foreman to release his wrath. It was a game of mental chess, controlled by Ali's taunts and smiles. Even as the world watched in shock, Ali maintained his composure, letting Foreman exhaust himself. This daring tactic would ultimately pay off. Ali, sensing the tide turning, exploded off the ropes with a series of punches that stunned the crowd. A right hand, a left hook, and another right sent Foreman crashing to the canvas. The fight, which many believed to be a certain loss for Ali, transformed into a moment of legendary retribution. Ali's ability to alter perceptions, manipulate his opponent, and adapt his game plan defined his legacy, proving that boxing is just as much about strategy and mental prowess as it is about physical strength. In retrospect, the rope-a-dope strategy didn't just win the fight, it cemented Ali's status as a revolutionary figure in the sport. Aftermath of the battle. In the immediate aftermath of the rumble in the jungle, George Foreman faced not just the physical toll of his defeat, but also a profound psychological reckoning. Once the reigning heavyweight champion, Foreman found himself grappling with an identity crisis, as every ounce of confidence he once held crumbled beneath the weight of an unexpected loss. The sound of the referee's count echoed in his mind like a haunting refrain, while the deafening cheers for Muhammad Ali seemed to mock him, resonating long after the fight ended. This moment, arriving like a storm, swept away the bravado that had defined his career. Instead of being celebrated, he felt like an outcast, a villain in a narrative that had twisted against him. Many fans and commentators raised questions about the fight's integrity, and whispers of accusations began to shadow his perceived fall from grace. Doubt gnawed at him relentlessly. He couldn't shake the feeling of failure, despite the accolades and respect he received from the world. For years, Foreman clung to a myriad of excuses: the softness of the ring, the sweltering heat, allegations of a rushed count. His bitterness became a familiar companion, haunting him whenever Ali's name crossed his ears or appeared on the screen. This was not simply about losing a title. It was about facing a deep internal struggle. That loss forced him to confront his vulnerabilities, leading him down a path of reflection that eventually became a powerful catalyst for personal transformation, opening doors he never thought possible. Foreman learned that true strength lies not in domination, but in the courage to evolve, to accept one's flaws, and to let go of the past. From bitterness to redemption. The journey from bitterness to redemption can be a powerful transformation, one that reshapes not just a person's identity, but also their legacy. For many, this journey begins with a profound loss, a moment that forces them to confront their darkest fears and insecurities. George Foreman's defeat against Muhammad Ali in the iconic Rumble in the Jungle is a perfect example of this transition. Once the undefeated heavyweight champion, Foreman found himself grappling with anger and resentment after the stunning loss. It wasn't simply about the title he lost, but rather an unraveling of his self-image. The pain lingered as he questioned his worth and his abilities, as the roar of the crowd, calling for Ali, haunted his memories. Yet, over time, the bitterness began to transform. This change was not immediate, but rather a gradual acceptance of the truth he had avoided. He realized that loss was not the end, but a critical point that would lead him to personal growth. It pushed him to acknowledge his weaknesses, reflect on his past actions, and strive for self-improvement. Eventually, the animosity he felt towards Ali evolved into respect and even friendship. Their journey together, from rivals to brothers, added depth to their legacy and showcased the potential for redemption. In this process, Foreman came to understand the concept of humility, and he learned the value of forgiveness, not only for others but for himself as well. Ultimately, this powerful narrative of redemption serves as a reminder that even in our darkest times, there lies the possibility of transformation and growth. Legacy and brotherhood. The rivalry between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali transcended far beyond the boxing ring, evolving into a story of legacy and brotherhood that continues to resonate. What started as an intense competition, filled with animosity and fierce determination, took a transformative turn in the years that followed their iconic match. In the aftermath of Foreman's devastating loss, the path to redemption began as he confronted his own vulnerabilities and grew into a more compassionate individual. Their journey from foes to friends is a testament to the human spirit, showcasing how conflict can lead to understanding and connection. Over time, the respect they developed for each other became the foundation of a deep bond, cementing their legacy in the hearts of fans around the world. Instead of being defined solely by their fierce rivalry, they became symbols of growth, forgiveness, and brotherhood. This evolution reflected a profound realization that true strength lies not in the fight itself, but in the resilience to rise above past conflicts. Foreman once said, "I loved him truly," capturing the essence of their relationship. It wasn't just about victories and defeats. It was about learning from each other and ultimately lifting one another up. Their story serves as a reminder that, in the grand tapestry of life, the threads of rivalry can weave together a narrative of friendship, understanding, and shared respect, illustrating the power of connection that transcends time and circumstance. In conclusion, the journey between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali serves as an extraordinary tale of rivalry turned brotherhood. What began as a fierce battle for dominance in the boxing ring evolved into a profound relationship built on respect and understanding. Foreman's chilling confession about his mindset during that iconic match revealed his deep-seated insecurities and hidden vulnerabilities. He wasn't just fighting for a title. He was grappling with his own identity, which was both captivating and unsettling. The raw honesty of his words opened up conversations about the mental and emotional toll that comes with such high-stakes competition. As we reflect on their story, it becomes clear that true strength lies not in physical prowess alone, but in the ability to confront one's darkest moments and emerge transformed. The evolution of their rivalry into a heartfelt friendship highlights the incredible power of redemption and forgiveness. In the face of loss, they both found a deeper understanding of themselves and each other, allowing them to embrace their shared history. As fans, we are reminded that behind the glare of the spotlight, there are human stories of struggle, resilience, and ultimately growth. Their legacy isn't just one of champion and challenger, but also one of compassion and connection. This narrative encourages us to look beyond the surface and appreciate the complexities of sports and how they mirror life itself. By celebrating their journey, we honor the lessons learned and the empathy gained, which continue to resonate far beyond the boxing ring.